Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of Martial Universe episode number 23 based on novel. So let's start. In the demonic horde, the Earth Devil Scorpion had gradually stabilized himself after being knocked back by Lin Dong. In front of it, there was a long and deep trench mark. Furthermore, a few cracks had opened up on the extremely hard armor that covered the area where its brain was located at. Obviously, these injuries were inflicted by Lin Dong's vicious ancient finger. After being injured by Lin Dong till such extent, the Earth Devil Scorpion was extremely furious. Its eyes were flickering with malevolence and ruthlessness, as if it wanted to crush Lin Dong with its bite. However, Lin Dong did not fluster at the sight of the scarlet and angry glints in the monster's eyes. He then became a wisp of green smoke while the yuan power in his body boiled to a point that it was burning. This was a sign of his breakthrough. He desperately needed the demonic crystal of this peak manifestation, stage demonic beast, to complete the last step, and successfully broke through the advanced manifestation stage, prepare to die. Lin Dong's body appeared on top of the Earth Devil Scorpion. With a jolt of his mind, surging mental energy gathered at the bone spear, and became a world around the spear like a whirlpool. A violent suction power then began to spread. With a jerk of the spear pierced with a lightning speed towards the direction of the Earth Devil Scorpion's brain, accompanied by deafening whizzing sound. If the spear was able to strike its target, raging mental energy would enter the Earth Devil Scorpion's body and crushed its spirit intelligence. However, just as Lin Dong's bone spear was about to strike the Earth Devil Scorpion's wound, an extremely powerful gust of wind swept up behind him. A cold voice then rang upon his ears. So you are Lin Dong, right? This time around, you have contributed greatly in the defense of the city, and I will reward you for that. However, I will be in charge of dealing with this demonic beast now. Upon hearing this cold voice, Lin Dong's eyes were surging with ghastliness. Given on Lin Dong's character, if someone wanted to snatch the peak manifestation demonic crystal away from him, let alone a peak manifestation stage practitioner, even if it were a nirvana stage practitioner, Lin Dong would make him pay. However, before that, he must first obtain this Earth Devil Scorpion's demonic crystal. This thought flashed across Lin Dong's mind. However, the bone spear in his hand did not slow down. Instead, it moved thrust forward at an extremely rapid speed before it viciously stabbed at that Earth Devil Scorpion's wound. Kid, how dare you? Lin Dong's actions were immediately discovered by the one who had attacked behind him. Immediately, he shouted out in rage. A potent yuan power erupted within his palm, before he viciously slammed his palm at Lin Dong's back. From the power of the blow, it was evident that he did not plan to spare Lin Dong. When he sensed the increasingly ferocious palm wind behind him, Lin Dong's mind moved as a surge of mental energy gushed forth from his yuan palace. Instantly, it transformed into a large skull behind his back as a piercing mental energy sonic boom erupted, causing all the surrounding demonic beasts that were leaping towards him to be instantly blown apart by this mental energy sonic boom. A figure swiftly appeared behind Lin Dong's back. He was dressed in green robes, and was indeed the peak manifestation practitioner from the Saint Light Empire. When he saw that Lin Dong actually dared to resist and totally ignored his shouts, his face turned increasingly dark. Over this period of time, he naturally thought that no one in this area dared to challenge his authority. However, he never expected Lin Dong to actually ignore him. This was something that he could not accept. Overestimating yourself, action. The green-robed man's expression darkened. As he twirled his palm, a wave of extremely formidable yuan power smashed into the mental energy skull like a whirlwind. With a single palm strike, he directly blew apart the skull. Nonetheless, although this man was extremely arrogant, he was indeed quite powerful. Though the peak manifestation stage was only one step up from the advanced manifestation stage, the difference between them was extremely huge. Of course, Lin Dong naturally did not expect that just this bit of mental energy alone would be able to stop that man. All he needed was to delay the latter for a moment. Hence, when this elite practitioner from Saint Light Empire, who was addressed as Senior Li, blew apart the skull, Lin Dong's heavenly crocodile bone spear carried a mental energy storm, as it neatly pierced the crack on the Earth Devil Scorpion's shell. Though this demonic beast's physical body was extremely powerful, it had yet to refine a demonic spirit. Thus, its mental energy defenses were fairly weak. In the face of Lin Dong's formidable mental energy, the Earth Devil Scorpion did not show much resistance, and it immediately died. The Earth Devil Scorpion's body immediately stiffened, while an aura of death slowly emerged from it. When he saw the Earth Devil Scorpion die, Lin Dong quickly jerked his bone spear, directly blowing apart the Earth Devil Scorpion's brain. Instantly, fresh blood and brain juice spurted out. A suction force flew out from his palm, as a palm-sized blood-red demonic crystal emerged from within the fresh blood and landed in his palm. When the demonic crystal landed in his hands, Lin Dong immediately felt a burning sensation spread out from within his palm. At the same time, waves of potent nirvana chi emerged from within. Compared to an ordinary demonic crystal, it at least a dozen times more potent. When the demonic crystal reached his palm, Lin Dong's foot pushed off the Earth Devil Scorpion's corpse as his body flew up. He stared at that green-robed man behind him with a cold and venomous expression, while killing intent flowed in his heart. Growl. When the Earth Devil Scorpion's corpse landed on the ground, the demonic horde seemed to have lost their leader as they howled at the sky, before quickly retreating like a tidal wave. In a mere 10 seconds, the blood-red wave of demonic beasts that had completely filled one's entire vision disappeared into the night. On the city wall, after experiencing the fearsome and massive battle, when the crowds saw the wave of demonic beasts retreat, they involuntarily heaved a sigh of relief. However, their attention immediately turned towards the two men that were facing off in mid-air outside of the city. It's Li Xing from the Saint Light Empire. It seems like he intends to snatch the peak manifestation demonic beast's crystal. That kid from Great Yang Empire is truly unfortunate. Li Xing is only one step away from the Nirvana stage. Even though that kid had previously killed a peak manifestation demonic beast, it was after all a demonic beast and not a person. The Saint Light Empire is simply too overbearing. After someone else painstakingly killed that peak manifestation demonic beast, he actually wants to snatch the demonic crystal. Who dares to criticize the Saint Light Empire in this place? You remember what happened to the people who offended them. Atop the city wall, when the crowd stared at the scene in mid-air, a series of soft whispers erupted. At one corner of the city wall, Mo Ling, Du Yu and Man Shan's expression changed when they witnessed this sight. Promptly, rage surfaced on their faces. Those Saint Light Empire members were simply too overbearing. In mid-air, the green-robed man known as Li Xing wore an icy expression as he stared at Lin Dong. He slowly stretched out his palm and casually said, "Hand over the demonic crystal, bone spear and manifestation martial art. I will guarantee your safety in the ancient battlefield." When he heard these words, a sneer involuntarily flashed across Lin Dong's face. Not only did that fella want his demonic crystal, he even wanted his heavenly crocodile bone spear, as well as the great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger. Lin Dong stared at Li Xing. Moments later, he slowly stretched out his hand. A fiery red, demonic crystal sat quietly on his palm, while a rich nirvana chi slowly spread out, causing the desire in Li Xing's eyes to intensify. You are a wise one." Lin Dong's actions evidently pleased Li Xing. However, just as he was about to take the demonic crystal, a mocking look flashed across Lin Dong's face. Promptly, he closed his hand, directly crushing the demonic crystal as a devouring force gushed out and swallowed all the nirvana chi into his body. "Who do you think you are? Ensure my safety in the ancient battlefield. Based on your current strength, you can't even save yourself, yet you still want to save others." After Lin Dong devoured the demonic crystal, he sneered as he said. After brewing over this period of time, plus the nirvana chi inside the previous demonic crystal, the current Lin Dong had officially broken through to the advanced manifestation stage. His strength had surged once again. Lin Dong's aura wildly surged around his body, while his icy cold roar rumbled across the horizon like thunder. "Your Saint Light Empire has been bossing us around these past few days. Do you really believe that you are the overlords of this region? In that case, I shall make you wake up to reality today. You actually dare to call yourselves overlords with just this strength? You must be dreaming." On the city wall, many people were dumbstruck when they heard Lin Dong's roar. Once these words were out, there was no longer any way to peacefully resolve this matter. In the mid-air outside the city wall, Li Xing stared coldly at Lin Dong. The fury in his heart caused his face to be slightly twisted, and he looked extremely sinister. Lin Dong humiliated him in front of so many people, and this was something he could not endure given his pride and arrogance. "It appears that I may have been too soft in my approach. So much so that even a filth from a small empire dares to disrespect me." Li Xing's sinister voice was filled with apparent rage and killer intent. "You really think that by stepping into the advanced manifestation stage, you can challenge me? You don't know how many advanced manifestation stage practitioners have died in my hands. Today, I will make you one of them." At this moment, the Saint Light Empire's elites, who were standing on the city wall, were enraged by Lin Dong's words as well. Immediately, all of their eyes were surging with killer intent. They flew down and encircled Lin Dong and blocked all his escape routes. Apparently, they were not going to let Lin Dong off today. When Mo Ling, Du Yun and Man Shan saw this, their facial expression changed drastically. They looked at each other and clenched their teeth. Then, they flew out and appeared by Lin Dong's side while looking vigilantly at the Saint Light Empire's elites. "Mo Ling, it appears you want to lead all of the Great Yang Empire's men to death." Xia Huang smirked coldly as he saw Mo Ling and his counterparts' actions. "So all of them are from the Great Yang Empire. Let's kill all of them." Otherwise, it will troublesome if any of their kind appears occasionally in the future, Li Xing said as he looked coldly at Mo Ling and his counterparts. Hey, I'm not related to them in any ways. Lin Dong and I are arch-enemies, so if the gentleman of the Saint Light Empire can kill him for me, I will be very thankful. Lin Langtian chuckled grimly as he stared at them from the city wall. Lin Langtian. Upon hearing these words, Mo Ling and his counterparts was furious. That guy courts his own death and he deserves this. I advise all of you to leave him as soon as possible. Sooner or later, an idiot like him will encumber all of you. Lin Langtian sneered. He could not wait to see Lin Dong gets killed by Li Xing and his counterparts. Given his nature, how could he not strike Lin Dong while the latter was in trouble at this moment? You are quite a tactful person. Facing Li Xing's disdainful smirk, Lin Dong just replied with one word. The next moment, vigorous Yuan power erupted abruptly within his body. After breaking through to advanced manifestation stage, the Yuan power in Lin Dong's body had become much more vigorous in an instant. Soon, you will see how foolish your actions are previously. Li Xing's facial expression did not change a bit even when he saw the eruption of Yuan power in Lin Dong's body. Without any hesitation, he took a step forward ferociously and blasted out a punch. Saint Light Illumination. As Li Xing blasted out a punch, violent Yuan power erupted like a volcano from his body. Then, the boundless Yuan power began to form around his fist and transformed into 10,000 rays of brilliant radiance that swept towards Lin Dong with an astonishing might. Boom. Boom. Honestly speaking, Li Xing's strength was extremely powerful. His attack was terrifying and overwhelming. The 10,000 rays of brilliant radiance contained vigorous Yuan power and illuminated the entire area, creating waves of energy ripples in the mid-air as well. Great desolate ocean splitting seal. Lin Dong's eyes flickered and his hand seal changed irregularly. Robust Yuan power became huge tsunami waves and surged out from his back. Accompanied by a powerful undulation, a light seal then ripped through the tsunami waves and collided with the 10,000 rays of brilliant radiance. Boom. At this moment, it appeared that the entire land trembled. The heaps of demonic beasts' corpses were crushed by the energy ripples and became numerous clouds of blood mist. Just as the energy wave swept across the area, Lin Dong's feet executed the Supreme Purity Sky Wanderer steps, and he transformed into a wisp of green smoke. With the heavenly crocodile bone spear in his hand, he flew out and pierced through the energy ripples violently and aimed towards Li Xing's chest with a lightning speed. When he saw Lin Dong's attack, Li Xing gave a cold snort. Then, he closed his palms before a light shield instantly materialized in front of him. Break it. However, even when Li Xing set up his defense, Lin Dong did not stop his attack. With a jolt of his arms, the heavenly crocodile bone spear produced a bizarre roar. An exceptionally sharp aura gushed out and landed ruthlessly on the light shield. Immediately, the light shield ruptured. The sharpness of the heavenly crocodile bone spear had once again displayed astonishing power. Li Xing was surprised by the heavenly crocodile bone spear's sharpness as well. His light shield was capable of withstanding all-out attacks from any advanced manifestation stage elites, yet in the face of the bone spear, it was utterly useless. Do you think you are the only one who possess earthly soul treasure? Li Xing retreated and dodged the heavenly crocodile bone spear's sharp tip. Then, with a flip of his hand, a luminous drum appeared on his hand. The luminous drum began to expand in size as it faced the wind and became more than 10 feet tall. With a swipe of his robes, a light pillar of Yuan power landed on the luminous drum. Immediately, a terrifying sonic boom, accompanied by sacred light, shot out from the luminous drum. That intense sonic boom knocked Lin Dong back several steps. Lad, I will show you the might of my Saint Light Empire's Saint Light drum. At this moment, it was as if Li Xing agreed with his mockings. Numerous brilliant rays of light erupted from the former's body in the mid-air. These rays of light then coagulated and formed a gigantic luminous elephant. A scary energy fluctuation and suppressive force was emitting from it. Lad, you will be the first person to witness the prowess of Saint Light Empire's manifestation martial arts, and you should be proud of yourself. Of course, you will have to pay with your life. Action. As the oppressive force spread, Li Xing's voice, which was filled with killer intent, rumbled through the sky like thunder rolls. Meanwhile, Li Xing's body hovered right in front of the large glowing elephant, while a venomous and cold expression filled his face. Thanks to the glowing light, his whole body was filled with an exceedingly powerful aura, causing no one to dare underestimate him. Such formidable Yuan power undulations. It must be a manifestation martial art. On the city wall, several people stared in, or at the lifelike large glowing elephant behind Li Xing. Its formidable pressure and undulations indicated that it must be a manifestation martial art. What an arrogant brat. He actually forced Senior Li to execute his Saint Elephant Sky crumbling tackle. Looks like there will be no need to watch this fight anymore. Once Senior Li attacks, that fellow will immediately be crushed into a meat pulp. When Xia Huang saw this scene, his pupils shrunk before he promptly chuckled. Of course, Saint Elephant Sky Crumbling Tackle is a mid-grade manifestation martial art. A single strike is powerful enough to destroy an entire mountain. Furthermore, when combined with Senior Li's peak manifestation stage strength, Lin Dong is definitely doomed. It seems like Senior Li is no longer in the mood to play with that fellow. That's fine as well. Let's take care of him quickly, the night is truly uncomfortable. The other elite Saint Light Empire practitioners chuckled. Evidently, they believed that once Li Xing used this move, the outcome of the fight was already decided. Such a formidable manifestation martial art. Mo Ling and the rest's facial expression turned exceptionally solemn. The pressuring aura emerging from mid-air made them understood that if they were in his shoes and had to face such a powerful attack, even if they could withstand it, they would have to pay a heavy price. I don't know if Lin Dong is able to handle such an attack. The three of them glanced at one another. They could all see worry in their respective eyes. The attack this time around would likely end the fight. In mid-air, Lin Dong's expression also turned increasingly solemn when he saw the giant glowing elephant materialize behind Li Xing. From the ripples, he could sense that Li Xing's manifestation martial arts would not lose out to the manifestation martial arts that Lin Langtian had obtained from the manifestation martial tablet, Hand of the Universal Emperor. In fact, since Li Xing was more powerful than Lin Langtian, when he used his manifestation martial art, the strength of his attack was even more formidable. In fact, even other peak manifestation stage practitioners would have no choice but to dodge this attack. However, though others had to dodge his attack, Lin Dong had no need to fear. Even though Li Xing's manifestation martial arts was extremely powerful, right now, his strength had surged as well. Therefore, one would only know the final outcome after a fight. After he shouted, Li Xing evidently did not plan to give Lin Dong any time to breathe. As he took a step back, he immediately leapt into the head of the large glowing elephant. The large elephant howled at the sky as a deafening roar echoed out. Saint Elephant Sky Crumbling Tackle. The giant elephant cried while it charged forward. Light rushed out, making it resemble an apocalyptic elephant that could destroy the world. Its rumbling footsteps shook the heavens as it carried terrifying energy ripples and brazenly charged at Lin Dong. Boom. Boom. Everywhere that giant elephant passed, a near 100-meter ditch would be forcefully torn apart on the ground below. Moreover, anything that the giant elephant slammed against would instantly crumble to dust. As he stared at the large glowing elephant that was rapidly growing in his eyes, Lin Dong's face turned exceedingly solemn. His feet executed the Supreme Purity Sky Wanderer steps, while he quickly retreated. At the same time, his hands swiftly executed various hand seals, while streams of formidable Yuan power shockwaves whizzed out from within his body. Great Desolate Imprisoning Heavenly Finger, First Finger Imprisoning the World. With a formidable glint in his eyes, Lin Dong thrust out his finger. Promptly, a large finger filled with an ancient aura broke through the air and emerged from behind him. It viciously pressed against the large glowing elephant that was tramping across the sky. Great Desolate Imprisoning Heavenly Finger, Second Finger Shredding Mountains and Rivers. Third Finger Exterminating All Life. After his first finger was destroyed, Lin Dong did not panic at all as he pointed out twice in the air. Immediately, majestic Yuan power howled across the horizon, while all the Yuan power in the area began to rage. Two sturdy and world-changing giant fingers once again materialized above Lin Dong. Following which, the crowds watched in amazement as the fingers flew with a terrifying speed, causing the air to explode before viciously slamming against the large glowing elephant. Bang. Bang. After they clashed once again, all the air in the area seemed to explode, causing a hurricane unfurl. In fact, even the ground below was forcefully lifted several feet, while several cracks spread out like a spider web. This time around, the large glowing elephant was no longer as dominating as before. After colliding against the two giant fingers, both sides seemed to be at a stalemate, while terrifyingly shockwaves continuously erupted forth. On the forehead of the large glowing elephant, Li Xing's body faintly appeared. When he saw that his attack had been gradually halted, he was extremely shocked. However, the greed in his eyes promptly intensified. It seems like Lin Dong's martial arts did not lose out to his Saint Elephant Sky Crumbling Tackle. Therefore, if he could obtain it, his battle ability would surely surge. You shall break. While greed flowed in his eyes, Li Xing suddenly growled. Immediately, a blinding sun-like radiance erupted from the large glowing elephant, while its might and aura were pushed to the maximum. As the Yuan power of the land surged, Lin Dong once again lifted up his finger and slowly pointed in the air. Great Desolate Imprisoning Heavenly Finger, Fourth Finger Breaking the Heavens. When Lin Dong's finger thrust out, the space above him was seemingly ripped apart, while an ancient giant finger, which seemed to have come from ancient times, slowly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The large finger was filled with an ancient and world-changing aura. In fact, there were even various ancient patterns on its body. This time around, when Lin Dong used the fourth finger, it was undoubtedly much more powerful and lifelike compared to the time when he used it against Lin Langtian. In fact, its shockwaves were enough to strike fear into the hearts of a peak manifestation practitioner. When the other Saint Light Empire practitioners saw the giant ancient finger, thick shock filled their eyes. In fact, even the grin on Xia Huang's face froze. They could all feel an aura of death on the giant finger, and all of them knew that if the finger attacked them, regardless of how they resisted, there would only be one outcome, death. What a powerful martial art. Not only them, even Mo Ling and the rest were stunned. This was the first time that they ever seen Lin Dong use the fourth finger. The ancient giant finger slowly landed on the large glowing elephant. The entire world turned silent. Under the bewildered stares of the crowd, they saw several tiny cracks slowly appear on the large glowing elephant. Lin Dong's expression was cold as the edge of a blade as his finger abruptly pointed, completely releasing the full power of the fourth finger, Dai. High-grade manifestation martial art. After he sensed the mighty and frenzied aura that was seeping from the ancient finger, Li Xing suddenly came to the realization that the Lin Dong's manifestation martial art was not a mid-grade one. Instead, it was a genuine high-grade manifestation martial art. Even though the two terms differed by only one word, the power disparity between them was like the distance between heaven and earth. How can it be? How can a filth from a tiny empire possess a high-grade manifestation martial art? Li Xing was bellowing in his heart, as he could not believe what he had just seen. High-grade manifestation martial arts were considered extremely rare even in his Saint Light Empire. It was something that even Li Xing himself had never possessed before. Therefore, when he saw someone like Lin Dong, who was from a small empire, actually possessed such a martial arts, his heart was naturally in turmoil. However, no matter how incredulous he felt, the incoming pressure was getting more and more terrifying. The huge lustrous elephant was covered with fine cracks, and was about to collapse. How can a filth like you defeat me? Li Xing's face ashened while his eyes became bloodshot. Initially, he thought that Lin Dong would be an easy opponent, yet now, he was facing tremendous pressure from the latter. It was unbearable for someone who was proud and arrogant like Li Xing, raw. As Li Xing's eyes turned bloodshot, an astonishing intense light erupted from the huge lustrous elephant. Apparently, it was trying to make a final desperate attempt. Lin Dong snorted coldly at Li Xing's all-out resistance. Suddenly, the former pointed out his finger, and that enormous ancient finger's pressuring aura began to surge again. Then, the ancient finger pressed against the huge lustrous elephant once again, bang. As the enormous ancient finger continued to press down, the luminosity of the huge lustrous elephant, which was intensified a few moments ago, began to weaken once again. The cracks on the lustrous elephant's body became increasingly large. Finally, under the numerous bewildered stares from the onlookers, the lustrous elephant could no longer withstand the giant ancient finger's formidable pressure, and exploded with a loud bang. Terrifying energy storm swept across the mid-air. The huge lustrous elephant exploded into a sky full of glittering lights that eventually rained down gracefully. Cough. Vomit. In the midst of the rain of light, a battered figure shot out before he violently spat out a mouthful of fresh blood spat. Then, the figure landed forcefully on the ground. He finally steadied himself, after leaving a few kilometers of track on the ground. At this moment, all the gazes shifted abruptly to the sorry figure on the ground. A deafening silence then swept through the onlookers on the city wall as their faces were filled with shock and disbelief. That was because the battered figure was Li Xing. The Saint Light Empire's elites in the mid-air were dumbstruck at this scene as well. Their facial expressions changed drastically, especially Xia Huang, whose arrogance was thoroughly replaced by intense fear. He could not believe that Li Xing, who was a peak manifestation stage elite, would lose so miserably to a mere advanced manifestation stage practitioner in Lin Dong. He actually won. Mo Ling and the rest took in a breath of cold air as exultation swept across their faces. They were right in their predictions. Lin Dong's hidden abilities were too well concealed. On the city wall, Lin Langtian watched gloomily at this scene. The power of Lin Dong's great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger was getting increasingly powerful. He knew that, if it was him under the ancient finger, he would definitely be wounded. After all, his great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger was far too powerful. In mid-air, Lin Dong stared indifferently at the blood-stained Li Xing. The frantic energy fluctuation in his body had yet to weaken. Senior Li. At this moment, the Saint Light Empire's elites returned to their senses, and flew down hastily and appeared beside Li Xing to help him up. Upon seeing the lackluster responses from the people on the city wall, Li Xing was so angry that he spat out blood. However, he also knew that these opportunists were unreliable. Immediately, he then muttered gloomily, "Set the Saint Light formation. Today, I will this living filth beg for his own death. Senior Li, why don't we retreat first? There is something weird about this lad, and his fighting capabilities are extremely powerful. We will go to the Yang city where Big Senior is located at and we will ask for his help." Then, it will be very easy for us to kill this lad. One of the Saint Light Empire's elites said. That was because Lindong's fighting capabilities had created goosebumps on their skins. I repeat, said the Saint Light formation. There are a total of 8 manifestation stage elites here. If we can't even handle a filth like this, how can we face Big Senior? Li Xing said eerily while his tone was filled with a berserk killer intent. Yes. When they heard Li Xing's eerie words, the Saint Light Empire's elites shivered with fear as well. They then clenched their teeth and moved their bodies, before they settled into their respective positions with Li Xing at the heart of their formation. Thus, an abstruse formation began to materialize. Li Xing, does the Saint Light Empire have no sense of shame? Mo Ling and the rest yelled angrily while the joyful looks that appeared on their faces previously had disappeared upon witnessing this scene. Winners are crowned while losers are vilified. Only fools will care about the morality of strategies used. Li Xing sneered as he looked malevolently at Lin Dong, who was in the mid-air. Set the formation. As Li Xing yelled out his command, intense radiance erupted from the bodies of the other 7 advanced manifestation stage elites. The radiance emitted from each elite began to extend and connect with each other. Boundless and powerful yuan power waves were created and started to undulate. The intensity of such energy waves was incapable of any further increase. As Mo Ling and the rest sensed the energy waves, their facial expression changed drastically. How could anyone beneath the Nirvana stage withstand a powerful formation that had 1 peak manifestation stage elite and 7 advanced manifestation stage elites? Brother Lin Dong, let's leave this place. Mo Ling and the rest looked at each other, and then yelled in the direction of Lin Dong. Given the current situation, it was impossible to continue staying in this place. You want to leave? Not so easy. Li Xing smiled eerily while the blood stains on his face made him look like a devil. Then, as he changed his hand seal, the entire sky surged with rays of light. Within seconds, the sky became an enormous light screen that enveloped the heaven and earth and blocked off Lin Dong's escape routes as well. Saint Light formation, purifying heaven and earth. When Lin Dong pointed out his finger, a bloody mark formed at his fingertip, before droplets of blood began to fall. Great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger, 5th finger move the universe. As the inexhaustible ancient voice echoed through the sky, the blue dome of heaven ruptured and the universe moved. All the yuan power in this domain raged, while streams of potent yuan power continuously gathered above Lin Dong's head. Thanks to that terrifying shockwave, even the heavens began to tremble. Such a formidable attack caused everyone to be in awe. It was very hard for them to imagine how Lin Dong could use his advanced manifestation stage ability to execute such a terrifying attack. Boom. Lin Dong jutted out his finger, while fresh blood continuously dripped off his fingertip. Based on this sight, it seems like even Lin Dong's powerful physical body could not withstand the might of this finger. As fresh blood dripped down, the space above Lin Dong's head was suddenly ripped apart. Immediately, a large finger slowly broke through the air. When that large finger appeared, an ancient and vicissitude aura immediately permeated the entire domain. Everyone near the city wall watched tensely, while they sucked in a breath of deep air. Eventually, 2 extremely destructive attacks finally slammed together, just like 2 meteors. Dong. The instant that collided, the entire universe seemed to have started trembling, while an extremely resplendent glow erupted forth, and directly lit up the entire area within a 100-mile radius. Everyone was enduring the blinding light shining in their eyes, as they stared at point of impact. However, the stalemate that they expected did not materialize. Instead, all they saw was a near unstoppable destructive force. In front of that godlike finger that came from an ancient land, even Li Xing and the rest's combined attack could not threaten that lifelike half-finger at all. Bang. That clash lasted for mere seconds, before that powerful sacred light glowing column began to crumble as the crowd stared in awe. Action when they saw those cracks emerging. Terror finally gushed into Li Xing and the rest's faces. They had never expected that even after combining 7 advanced manifestation practitioners' strength, and having a peak manifestation practitioner launch the attack, it was actually swiftly destroyed by Lin Dong. Right now, Li Xing finally understood that this peasant that he callously claimed to be from a tiny empire, was actually this terrifying powerful. However, right now, it was already too late. Boom. That gigantic sacred light glowing pillar was unable to withstand the terrifying shockwave contained within that half finger, as it directly blew apart in front of the crowd's eyes. A terrifying energy shock wave swept forth, a storm raged in this domain. Dust and rubbles flew everywhere, and even that sturdy city wall was shaken by this impact. Everyone standing on top of the city wall quickly activated their yuan power as they tried to stabilize their body. That energy hurricane swept forth, while Li Xing and the rest, who were right in front, instantly turned pale, before they vomited out mouthfuls of fresh blood. Their aura seemed to have dropped to its lowest point. Don't do it. We are members of the Sacred Light Empire. If you kill us, it will lead to severe problems in the future. Our big senior is in Yang City, and he is far more powerful than Senior Li. He is an enemy that you cannot defeat. At this juncture, all the overbearing elite Sacred Light Empire practitioner were finally crying out in fear under the threat of death. It's too late to say those words now. As that giant finger filled with destructive force solemnly descended, the entire ground seemed to crumble. When they saw that Lin Dong had no intention of sparing them, Li Xing and the rest's expressions drastically changed. Promptly, they quickly activated the remaining yuan power in their body and formed a glowing shield, stopping a car with a bug's hand. When he saw this situation, Lin Dong chuckled. After that giant finger descended, that glowing shield seemed to have no impact at all as it completely disintegrated. Meanwhile, the terrifying force contained in that giant finger finally descended upon Li Xing and the rest. Bang! 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 Thanks to that terrifying force, 2 advanced manifestation practitioners were instantly ruptured into a bloody mist. Lin Dong, you will definitely regret this. How dare you kill members from the Sacred Light Empire? In the future, your outcome will be worse than a dog. Fresh blood seeped out from Li Xing's pores as he venomously growled, Big Senior will not let you go. You can't escape and your outcome will be several hundred times worse than ours. Boom. Just as Li Xing's venomous growl descended, his entire body was unable to withstand that terrifying force as it blew up with a loud bang. The entire earth seemed to have turned silent instantly. Everyone stared at the elite Sacred Light Empire practitioners, who had all been blown up into a bloody mist, before they started to tremble uncontrollably. With 1 finger alone, a peak manifestation practitioner, as well as 7 advanced manifestation practitioner, were blown up till their corpses did not remain. Their expressions were filled with respect and fear as they stared at that figure hovering in mid-air. His actions let everyone to understand that the man in front of them was no kind-hearted Buddha. If you offend him, no matter what your background is, he would show no mercy at all. Mo Ling and the rest stared at that dent on the ground, while they involuntarily gulped. After all the elite Sacred Light Empire practitioner were blown into a bloody mist right in front of their eyes. On the city wall, when Lin Langtian saw this sight, his expression turned exceedingly grim. He knew that even if it were him, if he faced Lin Dong's 5th finger, even though he had help from the mysterious Yuan spirit inside his body, he would still be severely wounded. Just as a killing intent flowed in Lin Langtian's heart, in mid-air, a slightly pale Lin Dong waved his palm, before a suction force immediately gushed out. Instantly, 8 Qinquan bags flew towards him. Since these guys came from Sacred Light Empire, they must have pretty decent possessions. Therefore, Lin Dong was naturally going to keep those as his battle spoils. After he snatched away all their Qinquan bags, Lin Dong's attention turned towards the city wall. When they saw him turning to look at them, the crowd on the city wall immediately retreated. It seems like no one wanted to be targeted by him. As the crowd retreated, 1 figure stood still. However, his expression was exceedingly grim while a rich killing intent flowed in his eyes. Lin Langtian, there is no need to hold back. Even if you do not make a move tonight, I will not let you go. As he stared at that figure, a similar killing intent flowed in Lin Dong's eyes. With regards to this opportunistic bastard, he hated Lin Langtian much more than the Sacred Light Empire's practitioners. Regardless, tonight, he must get rid of this thorn in his heart. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.